You've been told to hold eye contact, that it shows confidence, that it earns respect, that it proves dominance. But the people who truly hold power, they don't chase your eyes. They make you search for theirs. You're not drawn to them because they look at you. You're drawn because they didn't. They broke the expected rhythm. They left the interaction unfinished. And your mind doesn't like that. So it loops. It replays. It waits for the closure that never comes. That's the secret. Non-verbal loops are unfinished gestures, unconfirmed signals, deliberate gaps in behavior that trap attention without effort. It's not about intensity. It's about absence, about what you withhold, not what you give. Someone starts to speak, and you shift away slightly. They can't stop watching. You half turn to leave, but don't commit. They wonder if you'll come back. No eye contact, no words, but the space around you pulls, because every time you refuse to close the loop, you install an open circuit in their mind. And until it's resolved, they track you. This isn't mystery. It's mechanics. The brain craves completion, and when you deny it, you become the focal point. You didn't win their attention. You made them hold it, because you never gave them an end. Let's begin. A nonverbal loop is an open signal, an incomplete gesture, a rhythm that starts but doesn't end, and the brain can't ignore it, because, biologically, we're wired to close what's been opened. A glance that stops just short of eye contact, a step forward that never lands, a sentence that fades mid-thought, a moment of presence that feels intentional but never locks. These aren't accidents. They're hooks, not the loud, flashy kind, the subtle ones, the kind that leave space. Space your mind rushes to fill. This is why someone who looks directly at you may hold less impact than someone who doesn't, but almost did. It's the almost that traps attention, the tension of incompletion, the subtle defiance of interaction rules, the loop that never closes. Your mind starts to ask, why didn't they finish that glance? Were they disinterested? Or reading me? Did they walk away too early? Or was I supposed to follow? And just like that, you're replaying, searching, tracking. That's a nonverbal loop in motion. It's not communication. It's unfinished code, and the person on the receiving end feels compelled to resolve it. But the more they try, the more they focus on you. They don't feel controlled. They feel curious. But underneath that curiosity is dependency, because you didn't meet them where they are. You left them suspended, and now their nervous system is leaning forward, trying to complete something you never confirmed. Next, you'll see exactly how to create these loops, intentionally, without saying a single word. The broken eye trail. You look towards someone, almost lock eyes, then shift away a moment. Too early. Not evasive, just unresolved. They expect the connection, but you deny the closure. Now their attention stays tethered, because you opened the loop, but refused to finish it. The interrupted gesture. You raise your hand slightly, as if to speak, as if to reach, then stop. The gesture halts mid-motion. Their subconscious waits for the rest of the move. But it never comes. Their brain stays on standby. Loop activated. It's like reaching for a handshake, and the other person pulls back half a second early. That tiny hesitation sticks with you. You don't remember what they said. You remember what they didn't finish. The delayed face return. They look at you. You know it, but you don't turn back right away. You delay just enough. to make them question what you were thinking. Then, when you finally return the look, you do it without urgency. Their system spikes. They're alert, unsure, reactive. You hold the frame. Without even blinking, the half-present stance. You enter a room. You're visible, but not fully engaged. You stand just slightly away, shoulder turned, unbothered, but there. You're not asking for interaction. You're offering possibility. And that ambiguity is what hooks them, because they don't know if you're withdrawing or preparing to step in. Their nervous system loops on it. Each of these micro-loops hijacks attention, not through presence, but through incompleteness. They don't remember what you did. They remember what you almost did. And that almost creates more fixation than anything loud, direct, or clear. You didn't impress them. You left them hanging, and their brain did the rest. Next, you'll learn how to hold that loop without ever closing it. The power isn't in creating the loop, it's in refusing to close it. Most people break the spell too early. They get uncomfortable with the silence, the ambiguity, the incomplete rhythm. So they clarify. They return the gaze. They finish the gesture, and the loop collapses. To hold attention without chasing it, you must resist resolution, stillness, tension. You make one move, then stay still, completely still. The absence of follow-through builds pressure. People around you start adjusting, not because you moved again, but because you didn't. Non-response. Quiz. They smile. You don't match. They react. You observe. By not returning social signals, you create unresolved space that demands mental processing. They wonder what you're thinking, what you noticed, what you withheld. And that wondering becomes the loop. Presence fade in. You enter quietly. No announcement, no energy spike. You become noticeable only after you're already there. No one knows exactly when you arrived, but now everyone's aware you're present. That mystery reinforces the loop. When did they get here? Why didn't I notice before? What else did I miss? You're not commanding attention. You're destabilizing their ability to fully track you, which makes them pay closer attention without knowing why. They lean in. They follow. They don't speak unless you do first. They overthink your absence. They obsess over your presence. And all of it because you left something unspoken and refused to resolve it. Now you're not in conversation. You're in control of their internal narration. Next, you'll learn how to build this effect into your very rhythm until people feel it even when you're not in the room. The most powerful presence doesn't demand attention. It destabilizes rhythm, not by being seen, but by being unreadable. People track what they can predict. But when your rhythm breaks their pattern, they shift into subconscious focus. You don't need eye contact. You just need to interrupt their flow. Directional rhythm. You move slowly, then unpredictably. You shift weight. You take one step, then pause longer than expected. This asymmetry makes them watch, not because of what you did, but because they don't know what you'll do next. Their nervous system locks on, looking for the next data point that never lands. Head delay control. Someone speaks to you. You don't instantly turn your head. You wait, half a beat, then you turn slow, deliberate. That delay makes them feel their words landed harder. It creates subconscious anticipation, as if your mind took longer to process them. Now, they're sinking to your pace, even in speech. Weighted exits. You begin to leave, but not in a clear way. You linger, say nothing, give no parting glance. They don't know if the interaction is over. They keep thinking about it, replay it. Their system feels the lack of finality and keeps returning to the moment. This is not performance. It's loop engineering. By making yourself rhythmically unclear, you remove closure. And when there's no closure, there's fixation. You're not holding their eyes. You're holding the air between every move. And that air starts to shape their attention more than words ever could. Now you don't just capture attention. You become its default location. Next, you'll create the final psychological condition, where even when you're gone, you remain unfinished in their mind. The brain hates open loops. It wants resolution, closure, definition. So when someone behaves in a way that feels incomplete, our system holds on, not because we choose to, but because we're wired to. You never looked back, never clarified, never smiled to soften, never finished the rhythm. And now, they're stuck. They replay the moment. They scan your behavior for hidden meaning. They wonder if they missed something. That's the obsession layer. You didn't impress them. You triggered an internal cycle that needs closure, and you're the only one who can give it. But you won't. You don't need to, because the more they try to resolve it, the deeper they loop. And the deeper they loop, the more control you gain, without doing anything new. This isn't mystery. It's architectural omission. You left something out, on purpose, and in that space, they inserted their curiosity, their projection, their vulnerability. Now they engage you, not from interest, but from discomfort, not to learn more, but to finish a sequence you refused to complete. This is why they can't stop thinking about you, why your silence feels louder than other people's words, why your absence creates more tension than someone else's presence, because you created a loop and denied them the exit. Now their attention isn't following you. It's bound to you. And that binding is the most efficient form of influence, because it requires no maintenance. You're not there, but you're not done. And until you decide to be done, they don't get peace. Next, you seal it, not by giving them closure, but by owning the right to never deliver it. You don't need to dominate the room. You don't need to be loud. You don't even need to be seen. You just need to not close the loop. The mind craves resolution. You become powerful when you deny it calmly, silently, without explanation. You don't hold attention by filling space. You hold it by leaving space open. No eye contact, no goodbye, no emotional punctuation, just stillness where they expected movement, just absence where they wanted presence. That's how you trap focus without ever chasing it. 24-hour challenge. When you speak, leave sentences open. When you move, pause mid-thought. When you engage, withhold resolution. When you exit, do it without confirmation. Let people wonder. Let their nervous systems stay unfinished. Let their minds wrap around your absence, like it's still active, because to them, it is. You are still speaking in their thoughts, still turning in their memory, still echoing in the silence you didn't fill. That's not influence. That's programming. You became the thing they can't stop thinking about, not because of who you were, but because of what you never gave them. You didn't conclude. You let them carry it. And they will, for hours, days, maybe longer, until they realize you never even looked them in the eye. And yet somehow, they never looked away.